What a wonderful discussion about what's going on in Ohio. And I'll bet to everybody out there it made perfect sense because it was based upon facts and results. And I couldn't help but thinking about that when I heard the economist from GM speak at lunch. He talked about minimum wage, labor force participation, weak growth. All of those things made perfect sense to me from a policy perspective. But I'm going to talk about this from a little bit of a different angle, if you'll indulge me. As much as the 5% initiative in Ohio makes perfect sense to me, you know what got a lot of excitement? Bernie Sanders offering free college. You know, there is no such thing as free college. It just means somebody else pays for it. But the difference is, what Faber is talking about deals with facts and common sense and results. And what Bernie Sanders talked about dealt with emotion. And too much of what we're seeing in the national election is being driven by emotion, whether it be Obama's hope and change message or even Donald Trump's message of populism. They have tapped into a vein of emotion in the general public, but you know what is missing? The kind of proven fact-based results that we've seen in the states that we represent. And it seems to me that there's an opportunity to merge those two in the 100 days or so before the election to be able to convince and educate the public about some of the things that we have done at the state level that are working. Because if somebody walks into the voting booth in November linking the conservative policies that have led to success in each one of your individual states, it is likely that they are going to choose the more conservative option in the presidential race. And while we have the opportunity to have 50 different laboratories of innovation in the various states to find out what works and sometimes what doesn't, the federal government has no competition, no profit motive, and apparently very little institutional knowledge. And so, you know, I can tell you that Indiana has done a number of things over the years, and frankly, everybody on this panel has a variation on this story to tell. We've lowered business taxes, we've lowered personal income taxes, we got rid of the inheritance tax, we've capped property taxes, we've grown revenue even through those cuts because new investment and jobs have come in to grow our economic pie. We've passed right to work. We deregulated our telecommunications environment. We have a conservative-driven Medicaid policy based upon individual responsibility and participation. All of those things are the core principles of who we are as conservatives, and yet it is clear to me that that message has not gelled as it should in the mind of the general public. In Indiana, we have more people working than at any point in our state's history. Across the line in Illinois, they have junk bond debt status. They're handing out IOUs to their lottery winners. They have the highest combined tax rate in the United States. And they can look immediately east and see a very different way of doing things that would leave a whole lot more money in their pocket and in many ways have a better quality of life. But they haven't all made the connection yet. And so the question for each of us up here is, how can we help link our individual success stories to the message of the national election that is coming very soon? Because frankly, a rising tide lifts all boats, and we are down ballot races. But I think we have an enormous number of things to be proud of. And so one of my colleagues said to me the other day, do we have a coordinated social media policy? Do we ever talk to our federal candidates about any of these issues? Do our campaigns have any discussion about how we can link our message in a meaningful way? And my colleague, who's been so very helpful on the House side of things, Wendy McNamara, is here today. We were just talking about that before lunch. How can we lean on one another? And that's one of the reasons, I'm sorry I just came out for today, but I did so because I so value what GOPAC does in allowing us to collaborate on these issues. I think this presents a unique opportunity for us to tell our story, not of our individual states, but of our shared philosophy and principles to try and help our nation as a whole. So thank you.